One thing Kyle said after winning the race, and it's funny because I've watched him do this before a few sprint car races, traveling with him, is he went back and was watching old videos of himself in 2021 to see what he was doing, how he was talking, what his mindset was, and mentioned that with this next gen car, it's difficult to keep your confidence up or get your confidence up in the first place. Do you feel that way?
Sometimes, sure. I mean, you always have self-doubt, but I mean, I don't think anyone would ever think, oh, Kyle Larson would never self-doubt himself, right? He knows he can go to a World Outlaws race or a high-limit race and kick everyone's ass any day of the week. And, you know, you're always going to put him at one of the top of the list as far as naturally talented race car drivers. But sometimes when you're in a slump, you know, on a finishing position, I don't think Kyle's been in a slump necessarily on how he's been running. I just think he's been in a slump finishing, same as us, right? It just takes one win. I thought this was going to be the one for us. Where it's like, all right, let's kickstart our season off for real now. Like, we're about to go into, you know, to Martinsville's, the tracks that we're super good at, Richmond's. It's time to start kicking ass. This is where we start kicking in a gear every year, and that's what makes me frustrated about it. But for Kyle, you know, huge momentum boost now for him. Josh Berry, great to see him get a good run with great strategy. Michael McDowell got a great finish as well with using the same strategy, just going long. And it honestly, it's easy to play that strategy when you're not running well. And a lot of times you see teams that you can kind of rank them, and there are official rankings of crew chiefs that improve their driver's position or drivers that finish way better than they're running. A lot of it is they have nothing to lose. They know they're not going to win. They're not even going to run top 10 or 15 unless they throw a Hail Mary. And sometimes the Hail Mary gets caught. And at the end, when the caution came, they caught their receivers, Josh Berry and Michael McDowell did. Bowman, another solid run. He's not running as good as his teammates, but he is just plucking along and leading the points by just being there every week. He's
consistency.
He's consistency, and he's executing, not making any mistakes. So Bowman finished 8th, it says, scoring his 6th top 10 finish in 7 races. Yeah, he's just kind of top 10ing the field to death. Now, you won't be able to get away with that in the playoffs for certain, but you know, if you win a regular season championship, that's 15 bonus points. That'll give you a little cushion. So that they're really doing a great job for sure. Austin Cindric, you know, we're kind of getting...
Before you move down to we're reading off the loser sheet. Another person who's not on this winners list, but if you want to give them their flowers, Ty also had his 3rd straight top 10 this weekend. Yep. After 3 episodes ago, I think you had talked about, hey, just focus on being your best, right? Mm-hmm.
Like I say, you know, do as I say, not as I do. For sure. Yeah, Ty, I don't know. I think I've passed him about 20 times in the last 2 weeks, but he continues to beat me in results every week. So maybe I need to kind of look at that and figure out what I need to do. But he was solid. Wasn't great, but he was solid. And I think, you know, given his inexperience, he's just going to take this and continue to get better and better. And now we're starting to see him reel off 3 straight top 10s in a row. That's really good for that team and his confidence, because I think Ty is one of those confidence drivers that he can get. He's very similar to Bubba. People don't realize he's very similar to Bubba in his emotions, where he can get super high or get super low. And so
that's kind of what I was alluding to with what you said to him a few weeks ago.
Yeah. He had a tough day after practice at Phoenix, but he's rebounding. He's rebounding really, really well. So I'm happy for him. Good kid.
All right, go back to your losers.
Yeah. I mean, y'all put on a sheet here, just winners and losers. You know, I had listed the Larson, Berry, McDowell, Bowman. Losers, besides myself, which is the obvious one. Austin Cindric, man, it just, for whatever reason, he's not running that well. Finished 28th. I know that it looked like he was struggling. You know, it's not on the list, but the first thing that came to my mind was Tyler Reddick. You know, he, after a win last week, I think we just got to figure out with Tyler how to keep him under the tire. He gets the most out of his race car, but sometimes it really, on tracks like these, it can really be a detriment to your long run speed. and he's had a really tough track record at Richmond anyway. But yeah, we got to work with that 45 team. The 23 team, of course, Michael's in town, sitting on the box, and there's no extra pressure that Jordan's sitting on your pit box. But we fumbled the ball there on pit road, and especially during a green flag pit stop, you cannot make a mistake, because especially a penalty mistake, because you'll go laps down. And so they rebounded, but they were going to run in the top 10. Again, Bubba needed that for his confidence, and then instead he finishes bad and probably is pissed off as I am right now. Blaney says he had a pair of pit road miscues, damaged Blaney's chances Sunday. He finished 26th. Another track where Blaney usually is super fast at the first half and then not so great at the second half. Again, I kind of put him in that same category with Tyler Reddick, that like they can get so much speed out of their cars that it's sometimes a detriment at these types of racetracks, like that style. So you really got to be able to adapt. And Allmendinger was not good. Chandler Smith, he was back there with when I went to the back of the pack. They were always one of the first couple cars that I passed, and so I was like, man, the Cola guys were struggling all day for sure. But that does remind me, because we didn't go over the truck and Xfinity race. Shout out to Chandler Smith for getting his very first Xfinity win. He is doing phenomenal in the Xfinity series. Just in my mind, way outdoing expectations. I thought he was very, very good in Kyle's trucks last year, but you always wonder, like, is that the truck? Is it, because Kyle's trucks historically have just been really, really good, fast compared to the field. But now he's going there, and Colleague's got, I actually consider it very close race between JGR, Colleague. JGR's maybe better overall at all types of tracks, but maybe I could argue that, because Allmendinger was way faster than the field at COTA. But shout out to Chandler Smith for getting his very first Xfinity win. That kid is very, very good. He's going to be in the Cup Series full time in a few years. You can bookmark that for sure, because he's got the talent to do it. He's a great driver, and awesome to see. And the next one was the truck race at Texas. Great to see Carson Hocevar get his very first win. Super exciting. I was very disappointed for Nicholas Sanchez. Sanchez, again, is one of those drivers where you're thinking, well, he's winning an ARCA, but what does that mean, right? I mean, ARCA is just, struggles at times. There's only just a couple really good cars, but he was winning in them. And now he comes to the truck series, and that dude is lightning fast. Now he is in, like I talked about, the KBM truck, the switch from Toyota to Chevy. But it appears that they kept their speed over the year at KBM by switching manufacturers. Their trucks do look very, very strong, very fast. But Nick Sanchez did a absolutely great job all day long. He led the entire race. But you could just tell at the end of it, he was getting a little bit tight. Like, he wasn't entering the corner quite as hard as I saw him enter when he was looser in the middle of the race, beginning of the race. And it kept allowing Zane Smith to inch on him. And, it just, you could tell how that race was unfolding. It's like, Zane's eventually going to get position on him if he doesn't just race looser, right? Drive his truck further on the edge. But he's trying not to make a mistake. The last thing you want to do as a leader is drive in too deep, right, and give the win to second place because you've missed your line. So that's why you see in these races, all series, the leader, if second is within shouting distance, they do tighten up a little bit, because you don't want to just you want to make the second place earn it. So you just back off a little bit to stay under the tire. And you saw Sanchez do it just a little too much, that allowed Zane and Zane's such a great driver himself. Speaking of which, I'm sitting here talking about this. There's so many great young drivers coming up. Like, I thought this was like a problem a few years ago, but I think we've got some awesome talent that is waiting in the wings to move up. So
now to find seats for him. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, hey, there's probably a bunch of them, going to be available at Stewart Haas. With Harvick leaving, we don't know Eric's future. We don't know a lot of guys' future. So I think that there'll be rides available. It's just a matter, will the teams take these guys, the inexperienced, be patient with them to make it. But I do, I just want to give the other, the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series their due time on this show as well, because we had 2 first-time winners in their respective series. And so congratulations to them. All the future is bright for them. And we saw some great racing.